Hello, my creative friends, and welcome to FAST Screenwriting Daily. In this video, what I wanted to do is give you sort of a primer of how I organize the broad principles of screenwriting. Because what we're actually going to do in this series is I'm going to take each day's idea or insight and I'm going to apply it to a different part of the writing process. This is going to help you understand the writing process itself better. It's also going to help you understand how to organize some of your thoughts and some of your ideas to help you go further with whatever it is that you come up with each day. See, I'm a big believer that the only way to get professional results as a screenwriter is to take consistent, ongoing, daily action. What you need to do is think of screenwriting not as something that you're going to sit down and do. Think of screenwriting as something that you're going to chip away at for days, weeks, months, or years. I just had somebody reach out to me last week saying, the school season has started and I'm not able to take action toward my thing, so I'm going to put the writing of my screenplay on hold for 6 months while I focus on these other things. And this is the killer right here. This is the problem. This is the fundamental problem that I have been trying to solve for the past 20 years. And that is, if you think of screenwriting as something that you're going to do at some point, it will forever slip out of your hands because at the end of the day, this person had school getting in their way or another gig getting in their way. But the reality is that you're always going to have something getting in your way, whether it's a job or whether it's your kids or whether it's a pandemic or whether it's everyone living in the house rather than being off at daycare or doing their jobs each day. You'll get married or you'll get divorced or your cousin will fall ill and you'll have to look after him or your best friend will need you to help him move out of his house or you'll find some opportunity in a foreign country and decide to sell everything and go there. From the tiny things in life each day to the big giant life experiences, something will get in the way of your writing every single day. You will never have a block of time that you think you need to write your screenplay, because a screenplay is a bigger project than you might think it is. Now, the reality is we still need to do it. The reality is we still need to make it happen somehow. So how do we make it happen? What I believe, my philosophy, the primer here that I want to present you with is that I really believe that the way to get there is to break it down into pieces. As I started trying to help writers take their ideas and turn them into screenplays we could actually go out and get investors for and package as products and actually make for a potential market. As I started doing that, I realized that we have to get you from point A, which is the idea in your head, or wherever you're at. Maybe you're halfway through your first draft. We need to get you from that point A all the way to point B, which is at first the completion of your screenplay. At second, it's the completion of a refined screenplay. At the end of that, it's the completion of a screenplay that people love. The ultimate point B is all the way to the producer who says yes and makes the deal with you and turns that into a film. Well, the reality is that the writing process itself is a 4-part process. That process involves story development or the shaping of your idea, what I call the focus phase, where you take the random stray ideas and you focus them into a story plan, a story outline, what I think my story is going to be. And then the next phase is to get that onto the page, the writing phase, as it were, although I would argue the whole thing is the writing. But it's that phase where you take all these ideas and you apply them to the page. You get them out as a first draft, as some sort of written document. So you have the initial idea of the story that you wanted, not just an outline, but the actual story, the whole thing. Once you have that, you will always need to rewrite. You will always need to do some sort of reshaping and refashioning. This doesn't work, or part of this works and this doesn't work over here, or you know what, this is a total mess. It doesn't convey what I'm trying to convey at all. And so you have to go back in and rewrite, reshape, what I call strengthen that draft or that story until it's solid. What you want to end up with is a solid story, something that is complete and cohesive and all the little pieces work unto itself, and it's also the story you want to tell. It's the kind of thing you're trying to say or express. That's what I call the strengthen phase. Once you have that, once you have a solid story, you started with your idea, you figured it all out, you got it on the page, you reshaped it and refined it, and now it's the story you wanted to tell. Well, that's all one way. That's you to the audience. That's you putting your ideas out there. That's not the whole story, because writing, storytelling is a two-way experience. It's all about putting that experience, that story, those ideas in the reader's head. It's all about giving them the experience, giving them the adventure, the journey, the surprise, the thrills, the cries, whatever it is. And to make sure that happens, you have to refine, you have to polish the words on the page. You have to do the wordsmithing part of the job, where you carefully craft the words such that when the reader reads it, they get drawn into this experience, beat by beat, moment by moment, page by page, word by word. They are pulled into your story. They cannot put your screenplay or story down. This is what I call the tweak phase, because it's about tweaking those words so that they're just right to give that reader exactly the experience you want them to have. Anything less than this is going to be an inferior product. You are not going to be able to win over the hearts and minds of your reader. Now, for an eventual movie, you have to then get that screenplay into the hands of this project's ideal producer, someone who is not only capable, but willing and eager and enthusiastic about turning this screenplay into a movie. It may seem like luck, but it's really not. It's about making sure that your screenplay now, that you know is a page-turner screenplay, lands with the reader. They read it, they experience it in the way that you want it to land with them. If it doesn't, if they're interpreting it in a different way and they don't like that, or you don't like that, well, then it's back to the drawing board. It's back to refining your project. It's back to tweaking those words to ensure that experience. That phase is what I call the alignment phase, where you align your work with your target audience. Once you've done that, once you have an aligned page-turner screenplay that you know lands the way you want it to land, well, then you're ready to go out and connect with your project's ideal producer. So it's all about finding them, connecting with them, hooking them in, drawing them, getting them excited about the project, letting them know it's perfect for them. It is an ideal project for them. Most writers approach this in entirely the wrong way. So what we're going to do in this series is, as I give you an idea or an insight or something to chew on, or if I'm answering someone's question that day and we go into a conversation about whatever topic or idea that person brought up, I'm going to try to filter these things into the different phases so that you really have a better sense of not only where problems and questions fit into the overall process so that you can hit those problems more succinctly, more efficiently, but also so that it really brings the process itself more to life for you. For example, if you had a question about, let's say, character building is not just addressed in the story development phase of the system. Character development is also addressed in the actual writing of the project. Even though you might have it perfectly detailed and meticulously planned, when you sit down to write, things are going to come out in a way that's a little bit different to what you had in mind because of the way the human brain works. But we also deal with character development in the rewrite stages, in that strengthen phase, and even in the tweak phase to a certain degree. Maybe you tweak the way the line of dialogue flows out of the character's mouth, and it completely changes their education level or their perspective or their attitude, and thus completely changes the nature of your story. So what I'm going to try to do in the series is not just answer a question in a pat, generic sort of way, but rather to try to help you understand how it fits into your screenwriting process, so that it's not just about giving you random tips that are or are not in sync with where you are at wherever you are in the process. Instead, it's about giving you practical, real-world advice and suggestions and principles that you can use to move forward in your journey. I absolutely do not believe there is only one way to do this. I absolutely do not believe you should follow a storytelling formula. And I do not believe that I hold all the answers. But what I do have is a unique perspective, teaching screenwriting for 20 years, reviewing 30,000 project submissions, reading 7,000 screenplays, helping over 10,000 writers at this point. I believe that I can help you on this journey along the way. And that's what we're going to try to do. So if you have any questions, even about this process, let's start there with this particular video. If you have any questions about this process, if you have questions about how it flows, about where you are in the process, about how to use and apply this process to your own writing, pop them in the comments below. I will address them in the comments as best I can, and I will take some of those questions and we will create further videos out of it later in the series so that we can actually answer and address whatever questions or problems you may be having. So today, I want to give you a quick little action prompt. What I'd like you to do is take wherever you are right now in your journey. I want you to think about where you are, and I want you to think about very specifically where you want to be. Where are you trying to get? Consider that your point B. Consider wherever you are right now, your point A. How are you going to get from point A to point B? Does this framework help you? If not, why not? If it does, start to see how it might help you. And we'll take that a little bit further in the next video. It'll give you something to do today if you don't already have some writing to do. And then you can join me tomorrow in the video that's right there if you're watching after that, or YouTube thinks you're going to like this video right here. I have no idea what's on this side of the screen. Thanks for watching. We will see you tomorrow.